All right, and we are now live, family. Welcome back. For those of you who are live with me earlier, I told you I would be doing another live tonight. I told you I would have the brother RFG, the chosen one, on tonight. Here the brother is. Without further ado, my brother RFG, the chosen one. Welcome back to the platform.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Indeed, indeed. Once again, family. Be prepared for another amazing conversation. Make sure you share, and I'm gonna get to this brother's Instagram real quick. Make sure you share this video with your friends and family. I love stuff like this. I love conversations like this, and I love to have these type of conversations on my channel about our origin and our history, our cosmic history. Uh, let's see. Let's start. So the brother put up. He always puts up in very intriguing Instagram posts, and he put up an Instagram post, and I said, I want to talk about this. Gotta talk about it. So let's get to this Instagram post real quick, family. You see the graphics, right? The graphics look intriguing. Let's get to this Instagram post. Most, not all Caucasians have a sulfur-based melanin. American Moors and Africans have a selenium-based melanin. This means biologically, the original Nordics have no origins on Earth. The Nordic race traces their origin back to the masculine side of the galaxy. I didn't even know there was a masculine and feminine side of the galaxy, so I can't wait to talk to you about this. The masculine side of the galaxy, which is the Pleiades star system. The aboriginals of Earth are located on the feminine side of the galaxy. The original humanoid beings on Earth were asexual, highly melanated plant slash humanoid. Wow. The male sex was engineered into the Aboriginal genome, and even after they produced the male sex, the Aboriginal Americans lived in a matriarchal society. The Nordic race produced their male sex first. Their female sex was engineered second. This is why the Nordics have always lived in a patriarchal society. The Black American woman rebelling against the Black American man is embedded in their very DNA. They are simply expressing the urges inside of the Amazonian portion of their DNA. This is a hell of a post, y'all. Make sure y'all listen, take notes, take a screenshot, follow the brother on Instagram. Let me read that again. They're simply expressing the urges inside of their Amazonian portion of their DNA. And the matriarchal rulers of the matrix want everyone on Earth to return to the hive-minded, asexual humanoids that Earth started out with. Once again, Earth is located on the feminine side of the galaxy. The gods from Sirius allowed the Nordics to invade Earth so they could set up the Tiamat project, parentheses, gene splicing program. The live tonight. I told you I will have the brother RFG, the chosen one, on tonight. Here the brother is. Without further ado, my brother RFG, the chosen one. Welcome back to the platform.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Indeed, indeed. Once again, family, be prepared for another amazing conversation. Make sure you share, and I'm gonna get to this brother's Instagram real quick. Make sure you share this video with your friends and family. I love stuff like this. I love conversations like this, and I love to have these type of conversations on my channel about our origin and our history, our cosmic history. Uh, let's see. Let's start. So the brother put up. He always puts up in very intriguing Instagram posts, and he put up an Instagram post, and I said, I want to talk about this. Gotta talk about it. So let's get to this Instagram post real quick, family. You see the graphics, right? The graphics look intriguing. Let's get to this Instagram post. Most, not all Caucasians have a sulfur-based melanin. American Moors and Africans have a selenium-based melanin. This means biologically, the original Nordics have no origins on Earth. The Nordic race traces their origin back to the masculine side of the galaxy. I didn't even know there was a masculine and feminine side of the galaxy, so I can't wait to talk to you about this. The masculine side of the galaxy, which is the Pleiades star system. The aboriginals of Earth are located on the feminine side of the galaxy. The original humanoid beings on Earth were asexual, highly melanated plant slash humanoid. Wow. The male sex was engineered into the Aboriginal genome, and even after they produced the male sex, the Aboriginal Americans lived in a matriarchal society. The Nordic race produced their male sex first. Their female sex was engineered second. This is why the Nordics have always lived in a patriarchal society. The Black American woman rebelling against the Black American man is embedded in their very DNA. They are simply expressing the urges inside of the Amazonian portion of their DNA. This is a hell of a post, y'all. Make sure y'all listen, take notes, take a screenshot, follow the brother on Instagram. Let me read that again. They're simply expressing the urges inside of their Amazonian portion of their DNA. And the matriarchal rulers of the matrix want everyone on earth to return to the hive minded, asexual humanoids that earth started out with. Once again, earth is located on the feminine side of the galaxy. The gods from Sirius allowed the Nordics to invade earth so they could set up the Tiamat project, parentheses, gene splicing program, and gene mixing program, so they could attempt to create perfected beings, new rulers of this galaxy, beings who possess DNA from both masculine and feminine sides of the galaxy. Mulatto man. There's a reason why you're the most hated man on earth. All right. Family, very interesting post, right? Very interesting post. RFG, man, we got to talk about this one here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got to talk about this one here. Uh, could you explain some of this masculine, and let's start out with masculine and feminine side of the galaxy? I haven't heard this. How do you come to this conclusion that there's a side of the galaxy that's feminine and there's a side that's masculine? Like, what makes that side feminine and that side masculine?
Well, we have to understand that when we deal with this physical realm, everything is dealing with forms of balance. You have a right and a left, you have an up and a down, and as within, so without, so-called yin and the so-called yang. Yin and yang are frequencies and not really polarities, but that's another subject. But when you talk about the galaxies are like cosmic hurricanes. And in order to basically formulate this cosmic hurricane known as a galaxy, you have to have dark energy, you have to have ether, and then you have to have the radiation, which gives birth to the stars. But the dark energy is what creates the cosmic vortex, which is the cosmic hurricane, which is the galaxy. And in order to start that, you have to create a a level of friction between two opposite forces, between two opposite opposing frequencies. And you have a positive etheric energy, you have a negatively charged form of etheric energy, and that is what ultimately creates the vortex, which creates what we know as galaxies. And when we look at the Nordic race, and then we look at the original inhabitants of the world, we're talking about complete polar opposite beings. We're talking about, on one side, we have beings that are able to absorb starlight and able to use that starlight for fuel and natural energy. And then on the other hand, we have a group that is extremely sensitive to starlight, to the point where, they can end up getting skin cancer and end up dying from that same level of starlight. See what I'm saying? One group has coily hair that rises up and defies so-called gravity. Then you have the others whose hair comes out straight, non-curly, and goes down to the ground. You have one with colored skin. You have one with pale skin. You have one, with dark eyes. You have one with light blue eyes. You see what I'm saying? And even with the body shape, the demeanor, is just complete opposite. And I just don't see how a group such as the Nordics, can be considered natural to the earth when they don't get energy from the natural energy source of the earth. And we're talking well over 95% of life on earth gets natural energy from the sunlight. So if we're talking about a species on the planet that can't get energy from the life giver of the earth, a species on the planet that gets attacked by the life giver of the earth, that for that to happen is at such a level of astonishment, and it's so rare. That's such a rarity to where you would have to ask the question: Do the Nordics come from this earth? And I would have to assume no. I would have to come to the assumption of no, because once again, like you said at the beginning of the video, the sulfur-based melanin, they're the only, they're the only group that have, a sulfur-based melanin, and then their biochemistry is, incompatible with Earth's environment. Now, when I say Nordic, I'm not speaking about the modern white person, because the modern white person has that Nordic DNA, but they also have Neanderthal DNA. And inside of that Neanderthal DNA, there is a portion of melanated DNA. And that's why when the life seeders of this galaxy, when they came to this earth, they had to splice the Nordic DNA with Neanderthal DNA. They had to incorporate that Neanderthal DNA into the other races, because the Neanderthal is the very reason why other races are able to mix. The Neanderthal is like a bridge species between different humanoids. You have African DNA in the Neanderthal. You have monkey ape DNA in the Neanderthal. You even have some canine DNA. You also have the Nordic DNA in the Neanderthal. So the Neanderthal was needed as a bridge species in order to give the go-ahead for every race to be sexually compatible on this earth. And I know this may be a lot for people to take in. This may be very shocking. This, very much paradigm shifting. But if you do the diligent research and you look at the information that I went over, I believe that this can be easily verified.
Right. Wow. Yeah, very interesting. So, this Nordic race, um, hmm. Why did I want to ask you about the guy you talked about, the gods from Sirius? You said the gods from
Mm-hmm.
Sirius allowed the Nordics to invade Earth so they could set up the Tiamat project, the gene splicing program, so they could attempt to create perfected beings. Um,
That's right.
they weren't happy with who they were. They seen something with the Nordics that they were like what was the mindset with splicing in ancient times where they wanted something that the Nordics had to splice with?
They saw Earth and they saw all the resources that were on Earth, and they had to formulate a plot to find a way to take that from the original inhabitants. So there may have been wars between the Syrians and the original Atlanteans, and maybe the Syrians were unable to defeat the Atlanteans, and that's why the Syrians felt the need to get the Nordics involved and then start the splicing program so they can create other races, to take over the resources of Earth.
So you're separating the Syrians from the Atlanteans. You saying they come from
Yeah.
those different? Okay, I thought the
Yes.
Atlanteans were Syrians, but so where are the Atlanteans? What part of the galaxy are they from? The Atlanteans.
Atlanteans is Earth. That's Earth. And when they study the DNA on the chromosome level of the so-called Black American woman, her DNA goes back on this earth billions of years. Now, the so-called Black American man has the oldest Y chromosome on Earth, and that goes back over 340,000 years, when the male sex was first engineered on Earth. Because before that, you had the Amazonians, who were a group of so-called Black American women from South America to North America, and they lived in a matriarchal structure, and they were asexual. They gave birth to clones, and they had a queen of their empire. So everything that they put in the comic books, seems to be the real reality, and everything that they told us in their education systems seems to be very misleading.
Why is it based on, it seems that it's easier based on our genetics and DNA.
Mm-hmm.
People, like, let's say a brother gets frustrated with sisters, right? You have something called the
Mm-hmm.
passport bros. A brother be like, man, I ain't effing with those black women no more. I'm going overseas and messing with the woman from overseas or whatever. But with women, it
Mm-hmm.
seems like let's say she just suffered 5 heartbreaks. Her homegirl might tell her, man, you should try a woman. You should try to get with some woman. So why does it seem that women are able to be with each other at such a faster rate, be gay at a faster rate, well, I can't say mate with each other, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I don't see when through experience, you don't see brothers going that route as fast as a
Mm-hmm.
woman will go that route. Is that anything?
Exactly.
Is that anyhow connected to what you're saying?
It's very much connected, because for hundreds of millions and billions of years, when you deal with the entire planet that's only female, asexual females, at some point that had to have been going on to some degree. And when you look at just basic biology, women are the first, gender on Earth. You have 2X chromosomes. The X chromosome has to be the original human chromosome, because the male needs a female X and a male Y. The female does not need a male chromosome. So therefore, the woman has to be the original.
Right. Now, very, very interesting. Very interesting. And I see some people disagree with that. You may get offended. It's all right. But like I said, I've seen this play out over and over and over again, over and over and over again. So
Yeah.
everybody's entitled to their opinion. But all right. So like I said, this is interesting. This is very interesting. Okay, so you saying the men on this on Earth didn't pop up to around 300,000? That's not. I
Three
thought.
340,000.
Wow. What civilization was this? Atlantis? What Lemuria? What civilization was this when men popped up?
Atlantis. Lemuria was that was like an empress, but the patriarchy started with Atlantis.
Right. Mm, okay.
And it's very interesting, because when you look at the Africans, and this is going to shock a lot of people, the Africans, as well as the Europeans, at many points in history, did show signs of not being original to this earth, or not being immune to the biochemical makeup of the earth. So, for instance, we've all heard of the Black Plague, right? That happened in Europe in the early 1300s.
Yeah.
The bubonic plague.
Uh-huh.
And when the Spaniards and the Portuguese came to the Western world, they killed off most of the Incas and the Mayas and the Olmecs with their Spanish flu. Now, most people would think that that's just some kind of random coincidence. But wait a second. During the Black Plague, their entire species was almost wiped out completely. Now, if you study the way biochemistry actually works, if you were to go to a totally different planet, if you wouldn't be housed in a biodome and a spacesuit, you would die within maybe a day or a few days, because your cells are not immune to the foreign microbes and bacteria on that particular planet. So because of that, your cells would have to form an immunity to that new environment, to those new the new bio atmosphere, the new microorganisms. In order to form an immunity, you would have to get sick, and in many cases, you would end up dying until over time your species grew a form of immunity in that new atmosphere, in that new environment. That's exactly what happened with that group of white people in Europe in the early 1300s. I literally believe there were UFO crafts that were literally dropping humanoids and different humans off in certain locations to populate the earth. I'm dead serious. And that's where a lot of these plagues come from. It's because, when you talk about the origins of the European, the origins of the African, we're talking about two different groups that are from two different star systems with totally different biochemical makeups and different different atmospheres when we talk about what kind of microorganisms that they are immune to. And this is why a lot of new diseases, they are created between Africa and Europe. They have an African and European origins.
Bro, man, you got some wild theories. You said that aliens dropped off the humanoids to populate Earth in their body. Wow, man, I just, that's very, it really makes a person think. So I definitely commend you for saying stuff that will get our gears going, man. Because yeah, that's some interesting stuff right there. So you mentioned the mulatto man. Why did you mention the mulatto man? What's up? What role does the mulatto man play in this whole thing?
Whoever, and I'm speaking about the entities that are responsible for the gene splicing program, which I refer to as the Tiamat project. Whoever is the head honcho of this gene splicing program on Earth, I believe their ultimate goal, or one of their ultimate goals, was to create the mulatto. Because when you look at the dynamics, the genetics of the mulatto's DNA makeup, you're talking about an entity that possesses both the highest masculine, the highest feminine, and we're talking about two different polar opposite sides of the galaxy, two different polar opposite humanoid beings that represent opposite frequencies in the galaxy coming together to form its own entity. And that hasn't happened before in millions of years in this galaxy. I believe it just recently happened in the past 5,000-6,000 years, but I believe that is part of their ultimate goal. And you actually see this being carried out in Europe and the Western world, as far as couples being proud to be interracial couples. And it's getting to the point to where you have to ask yourself, is there a greater agenda at play? And I believe there is. And I believe that, when it comes to creating the mulatto group, I believe that is the ultimate goal of whoever's in charge of this genetic splicing program.
Indeed. Wow. Wow. So what do you think the time period we're in now, you see everything going on. What group is most interested in Earth right now? Like we hear all this alien talk. Who are they really talking about? Who can we expect to see if we got all these groups out there monitoring Earth? Who can we expect to see out of all these groups?
Oh, I mean, of course, you're always going to see the draconians, the grays, because the grays are slaves to the draconians. Um, for everybody who's unaware, the draconians are just like highly intelligent reptilian humanoid beings, and then you have